Hey, SP, we sat down with Doug Pederson on Friday afternoon to get a detailed look at just how he has transformed this team on the fly and won a division title. The whole football world is shocked that he was able to do it. There was no question off limits, and his answers were very revealing, especially about Carson Wentz.
Wentz firing, caught in the far corner of the end zone. Greg Ward. Scott up the middle. He pushes. He's in. Touchdown. Standing up. Fires across the field, and it's caught for a touchdown. Josh Perkins.
So who are these guys? What is this team? People want to know.
It's a faceless opponent. These guys are. I mean, we all know the Carson Wentz and Brandon Graham's, Malcolm Fletcher. We know all those guys, right? But we've got a group of men on this football team and these young players that have, one, they've bought into our culture. They look to Carson Wentz for leadership, and all they want to do is play football.
Greg Ward, who is he?
He is a slot receiver. He's tough. He's probably quicker than he is faster. Very smart, good hands.
Boston Scott.
Boston Scott. He is probably a pint-sized version of Darren Sproles, and it's a large task.
Josh Perkins.
We got him as a tight end, but I think he's a bigger receiver. He's kind of that tweener for us, which is a very good thing.
Deontay Burnett.
Deontay Burnett's probably the newest of the guys. He's lean, he's not real big, but he is physical, and he has got speed.
He is firing deep, and it is caught by Burnett. Deontay Burnett, the newest Eagle in Giants territory.
That's an amazing play to a guy who was a walk-on at USC, who wasn't even on your team on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. The play wasn't designed actually to go to him. It was designed to go to Dallas Goedert, actually in a little bit more of an intermediate throw, but they covered that, and Deontay was one-on-one down the field as Carson got out of the pocket. He made a great move at the top of his route. Carson made a heck of a throw, diving catch on the sideline. Didn't even throw that ball, during the week, and because the ball was always going to Dallas during the week.
Oh,
but
really?
Yeah, and it just goes to show you that the hard work with these guys paid off in a play like that.
Wentz looks, Wentz fires, touchdown! Dallas Goedert, 8 yards deep.
East is not enough.
East is not enough.
East
What does that mean?
No, we're hungry. We're extremely excited about this win and winning the East, but we're hungry.
So this is Carson's first opportunity to play in the playoffs. How is he a changed quarterback?
I think what you're seeing with Carson, the fact that he's beginning to trust these guys, right? And sometimes when you don't have that security blanket, if maybe Zach Ertz isn't there, or your Alshon Jeffrey's not there, or Deshaun's not there, who are you going to throw the ball to? Well, guess what? This is what we have. This is our roster right now. These are the guys that are busting their tail to get open for Carson. So he's developing these guys.
It's almost like, we're seeing the transformation from the Nick Foles era to the Carson Wentz era, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
There's only 4 coaches, 4 teams that have gone to the playoffs now 3 straight years. Belichick, Patriots; Andy Reid, Chiefs; Sean Payton, New Orleans Saints; Doug Pederson, Philadelphia Eagles. When you look at it and you say, I'm in that company, what do you think?
It's hard to believe that I'm in that company, honestly. I don't think it's a surprise. For me, it's not a surprise, because this is what I set out to do. This is what Mr. Lurie hired me to do, was to win football games and be in the postseason every season.
You use the word surprise, but a lot of people on the outside are using the word shocked. Shocked that this team, with these players, won 4 straight and won the division title. But you're not shocked. How come?
No, I'm not shocked at all, because I know what that locker room is all about. I think sometimes, too...
Come on, just a little bit. You were like, come on, in the back of your mind, you must have been like...
I think when the injuries began to pile up and you're kind of faced with adversity each week, like, how are we going to put a roster together to play a game? I think there was a little doubt. Some doubt had crept in.
It must have been a rush Sunday night at MetLife Stadium.
There's no question it was a rush.
When you won the division title.
No question. And it was a rush like we hadn't felt all season, because I know how hard these guys have worked. The guys were elated.
There's a headline from that interview. It's that the transformation from the Foles era to the Carson Wentz era. After that win, MetLife Stadium last Sunday, you could just tell. I talked to Carson Wentz that he now belongs. This is now his journey. and that's an important step for this football team to take, SP.
Yeah, great interview, Sal. I love how candid Doug is, that he just gives a straight answer. I mean, this is a guy you played with. It's so weird to talk about him as your teammate because we've seen him be so impressive in his early years as a head coach. What do you make of what he's specifically done with this team in this situation this year?
Yeah, it's not a daunting task for Doug Pederson to try to beat starters with practice squad players because I think primarily Doug Pederson as a player was a backup player. I mean, I firsthand watched him go up against the Green Bay Packers defense, the Super Bowl defense, guys like Reggie White and Leroy Butler throwing to guys like Jeff Thomason and Bill Schrader. And shoot, even myself, I was the fourth string quarterback on the practice squad. I'm running tight end routes against Leroy Butler, who's a Hall of Famer, no doubt. And
got open.
And he's going to get open. Like Doug Pederson sees what we can do instead of what we can't do. And then the other thing is just that they have developed their practice squad as the season's gone along. Where some people just, yeah, you're on the practice squad, sit down, shut up, give us a look, that's it. The Philadelphia Eagles are reaping the benefits of actually developing their practice squad, who has now been called upon this season to help them win games, and now we're talking about playoff games.
Well, that's a true test to your head coach, like you're talking about, Matt, is when all of your starters are gone. I mean, it not only tests your scheme, but it also tests the mentality that you try to portray to your team, never overemphasizing the importance of one player. Because if you do and your players are listening to you and they say, well, okay, this guy's all this guy's all that, all of a sudden he's gone, then the players say, what are we doing now, coach? We don't have player X because you said he was so special. That's what Doug Pederson does. That's why he's been able to do this. And that scheme, when you don't have the receivers, is also strong because how you get, when the receivers can't get open, what are my short passes? And it's the screen passes. That's what makes it so special and how they're able to have success. They're a very good screen team. That's a part of the strong scheme. And those Seattle Seahawks linebackers are going to have to stop it. And that's what they have to do. And that's what they've done all year. I got a tape to show you here on it. Defending the screen pass. Here it is. KJ Wright and these backers do a great job of recognizing it. The ball hasn't even been thrown here, but KJ goes and he runs. Look at the triangle right there. There's a point man, there's a force guy, and then there's pursuit guy. Wagner, Kendricks, and Wright. That's what they have to do, recognizing these tight end screens. Doug Pederson and the Eagles, they have them all right? They had the second most receiving yards on screens this season, but the Seahawks defense, they've allowed the second most yards on screen passes this season. So it's going to take KJ Wright recognizing this from the Week 12 matchup, getting in there on these tight ends to make plays like this, because this is the strong scheme I'm talking about from the Philadelphia Eagles. The creativity, how you run the schemes, and Seahawks defenders are going to have to stop it.
Hey, can we, I love Sal's thing. It was great. But the Nick Foles era, now it's the Carson Wentz. Nick Foles era doesn't exist without Carson Wentz, by the way. Do we forget that? He should have been the league MVP until he got hurt. They had home field advantage all throughout the playoffs. Had nothing to do with Nick Foles. So I can't stand that. And
he got a statue.
You get us a statue, all that stuff.
He finished the job.
I know, I get it, but I don't get it. Carson Wentz is the man. And Doug Pederson, what a job. I mean, phenomenal job of coaching. But there's a concern that I have, and it has nothing to do with their offense. My concern is with their defense. And look, don't get me wrong. They play brave at home. They're 11 points a game better at home than they are on the road. But, man, their secondary, we always say, as a corner, can you find the football? Can you catch it? I've got a tape here right now of some of these things. That's why I expect that they're going to be attacked. You're going to see Tyler Lockett right here against Mills. But it doesn't matter. I had 25 of these type of plays, not just against Mills, but against all of them. Right here, he doesn't make a play on the football. Guess what? Big completion. Now you're going to see another one here. Okay, Daniel Jones is sitting back there. Randy, I'm wondering about this. What's he doing wrong, Randy?
Where's his head at, Rex?
He's got to get in
for the ball.
You always say, get your head around.
Yes.
Can't get your head around right there. You can't find the football. You can't make a play on the football. Here's a time he's in zone, going back. He's looking at it all the way. Can't make a play on the football. And it's just time and time again. Here's one right here. Devontae Parker looked like Randy Moss in this game. Look, he's seeing it all the way, not going up, not making a play on the football. So today, man, be careful with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Oof. I expect bombs away against this group. They don't make you pay.
And that's been an issue that I've had with their defense.
You know, Matt, you said something about the practice squad that I have to commend Doug Pederson and the Philadelphia Eagles for. Being able to work through all the injuries and bringing guys up to be viable components to the offense. But to me, work with what you got. A lot of teams don't do that, but you see that the Doug Pederson and the Philadelphia Eagles are working with what they got. For the last month of December, we were there for a Monday night, Week 14 against the Giants. Terrible first half by the Philadelphia Eagles. But ever since that second half, something was lit up under Carson Wentz, a firecracker or something, for him to go off on this span of just going out, leading his team, leading his organization, one, to the division, and being able to work with what he has. The month of December, I would have loved to have been at those practices on Wednesday and Thursday and seeing how those guys from the practice squad, per se, were elevating their game to come out here on Sunday and make those plays. So I have to commend the Philadelphia Eagles, Coach Pederson, the guys that they're working with, because the picture that Adam Schefter put up there with Sproles and Aguilar, all those guys, that was, I think, the best, one of the best wide receiver pass-catching core in the National Football League. But the guys that he's working with now, since Week 14, have to commend Doug Pederson, Carson Wentz. It's a big game today, but I have to give kudos and give credit when it's due. That's a great job of what they've done.
Yeah, he's done a lot with a little. It speaks to the culture of the organization, similarly to what we saw from Mike Tomlin with the Steelers this year, where there's this trickle-down effect when the top guy doesn't freak out, and even though he admitted to Sal there was a little bit of doubt that crept in, I'm sure the players didn't know that, and he has the record now to prove to these guys that they can count on him. In the last 3 seasons, 14-5 in December and January when it really counts. That's his second best record in the NFL. And here's a guy who never panics, Adam Schefter, of course. Adam, it's time for Second to Schefter. Take it away.
All right, Sam, yesterday we saw the Bills and Patriots lose games, and we saw the NFL lose 2 great ambassadors to the sport, 2 great pros. Lorenzo Alexander, the Bills linebacker, and Benjamin Watson, the Patriots tight end, told reporters after the game